Okay. All right, Tyler. Thanks, man, for joining me for this conversation. So, just for somebody that's brand new, hasn't seen your face before, share your name, where you guys live at, a little bit about your farm operation.
I'm Tyler McPherson. I'm eastern part of North Dakota, about an hour north of Fargo, and we run uh, row crop, about 6,000 acres. Have a crop dusting business that's what started everything, and then I also sell seed on the side of that.
Yeah.
And I farm with my brother and my dad.
So, throughout your guys' entire operation, you have a lot of money flowing in and out, a lot of financial decisions and things like that being made on a daily basis.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, how long have you been in legacy farming now? Well, we're almost approaching 18 to 24 months, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, 18
It's
months.
it's changed quite a bit since you've come in.
It's changed a lot.
So what are some of the biggest changes you've noticed that have been, super valuable for you?
Well, at the beginning, just kind of changing my ways and the way I approach things, decisions, and then kind of transitioned into because my brother and I took on a lot more farmland and trying to just figure out more of the metric side of it, the numbers. We just always just scramble at the end of the year, kind of threw stuff together for tax season. But now, now I'm running my own seed company and trying to figure out the numbers. And, that was the biggest thing. I wasn't trained or I wasn't taught how to really keep track of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, so how did you guys typically make financial decisions before we really started working on farmer metrics and then moving into the bookkeeping and stuff like that? Before you came to legacy farmer, how did Tyler make decisions?
What was in the bank account,
Okay.
basically, or what was left on the line of credit type thing, So
yeah. So, like, for example, you and your brother are looking at making a purchase, say you're buying a combine or something like that. You're literally making that $300,000 decision based on, hey, let's go check what's available on the operating line of credit or what's in our bank account balance, right?
that, or, if talk to the bank and if they give us the loan for it, perfect, type stuff like that, just emotional decisions quick.
Yeah. But not, and then the problem there is obviously not having any of the foundational stuff set up to where you actually know what that decision and how it's going to impact your bottom line and your numbers.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So when we got farmer metrics set up for you, man, and we moved into that, what did that kind of open up for you? Because that was kind of the first step into starting to get numbers organized. We can talk about the business entity structure and all those different things that we do here. But what was the most eye-opening, moment for you when we got farmer metrics set up?
Well, just how much cleaner it made everything. Just, month wise, trying to stay on top of everything month by month. But also seeing all the expenses each month go out the door instead of at the end of the year, just kind of cramming everything together and just staying more organized, kind of a little weight off your shoulder, but also learning as we go along too, and it was one of the greatest things. I was thinking the other day, this is Legacy Farmer and the Farmer Metrics is the best tool that I've on the farm now for me.
Yeah. And you were talking a little bit about last week, but let's say, we laid out on a table your dad's numbers, your brother's numbers, and Tyler's numbers. Who's going to know the most about where they're at and be the most structured and organized?
Right now, I'd have to say me, because I've seen my dad for the last 40 years just cram stuff in. He's so messy, so unorganized. And I've seen my brother there too. So,
yeah. Well, just having the numbers organized inside of farmer metrics too, do you feel like it's changed your thought process on how you're making financial decisions now on a day-to-day basis when you're thinking back to, okay, how's this going to impact my position with the bank? What's the bank going to say about this? Is this good? Is this a good, short-term decision, but I'm not thinking about long-term consequences? How does this impact cash flow? Like, are all those things stuff that come up for you now?
Yeah. I mean, even if I have a decision like that, a bigger one, I can plug it in and just kind of see what it will do to my ending balance, if I'm pretty accurate or close to it.
Yeah.
And that's been the best decision maker, I guess, is just being able to plug it all in and see everything.
Well, and a lot of guys, man, they feel like they're essentially a slave to the bank. right? Like there's one number that every farmer knows pretty much, and it's how much interest they paid the bank because it kind of pisses them off a little bit, right? So now when you're putting in these numbers and you have, the amount of opportunities farmers and ranchers have throughout the year to purchase different things, right? And not having, and most of them are just making that emotionally, right? Not having farmer metrics to tie it back to, going back and being able to plug in like, okay, if I purchase this combine, I've purchased a piece of ground or take on some more rented ground or whatever, being able to see how that's going to impact your position with the bank. What type of, I guess, confidence does that give you?
It gives you a lot more confidence walking in there just to talk to the banker. It kind of shows them also like, hey, he knows what he's doing, or I still don't know everything or don't know a whole lot, but I don't have that much confidence when I go in on trying to plan a conversation in your head. But now this kind of, all I have to do is basically kind of show my banker some of the numbers and show them that I do know what I'm kind of talking about.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, for anybody watching this video that doesn't know like my background, but spending 6 years in the bank, farmer metrics, it's been built out, and you've seen this, right? It's been built out so that we're providing the bank all of the information they would ever need so that we literally get no questions or no pushback from them. Because typically when a guy's wanted to go buy something and he gets, even if he calls his banker and he's like, hey, I want to be looking at buying a combine or whatever it may be, if the banker gives him pushback, well, the banker is giving him pushback based off of what? It's not based off of numbers. Again, it's just based off of emotion. So when we are the ones being proactive, getting the numbers organized and organizing it in a way that actually, serves the bank's viewpoint on it, to where the bank can look at it and be like, oh yeah, I can see our position here. I can see exactly where you're at there. I can see where we're going to end up at the end of the year. I can see where we're going to end up at the end of the year with you. It kills any pushback on any decisions.
Right. And I really wish, we made this rash decision to buy this other farmstead bin site shop, and I had to do it, and it put me financially pretty deep in the hole right off the bat when we started farming. And they let me do that because of my dad's leverage at the bank. And if I would have had farmer metrics at the time or did something like that to just be able to show my dad, even like, hey, it's going to put me thousands in negative into the hole. That,
yeah.
Granted, it's helped us over the the last couple of years having this place, but it would have been nice to get your kind of the feet underneath you before you right away.
Yeah. And, you think about it though, it's just understanding how is it going to impact your position with the bank? Because out of, the most important relationships that farmers and ranchers have for most of them is the bank. Mm-hmm. Right. And making sure that you're taking care of that. And with farmer metrics, it kind of puts you guys, it does put you guys in the position where you now have the leverage over the bank, not the other way around.
Yeah. And, like just seeing, like understanding that where, I always kind of wondered why they gave a brand new farmer. I literally was living off of, salary from my dad. And all of a sudden my first year going in, they gave me $1.5 million loan. So it was just, I didn't think about it at all. You're just sitting there like, oh, sweet, cool. Yeah. But then understanding why and how, and, now my dad's name is written on a lot of these big loans. And so.
Yeah. And if you would have had the tools that we provide, like farmer metrics, like you probably would have changed like your decision on that and seeing the actual number. When the bank says, yeah, we'll do that for you, if you don't put the number down on paper, you don't see how this decision is going to impact your position with the bank or impact your cash flow or impact the future of your farm operation. Mm-hmm. Like it's pretty easy to dig yourself into a deep hole there.
Oh, big time. Granted, we're lucky that, the prices and stuff are going a little up, but at that time, they were at bottom.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of hard.
Yeah, it definitely changes the way that you think about it. So the other thing too, man, is with a lot of the members now that we have in the group, like with all you guys, I'm learning more and more, the two most stressful times for you tell me if you agree with this or not, but the two really most stressful times for you guys throughout the year, it's not even farming or getting a crop in the ground. It's literally bank renewal season, getting your operating line of credit renewed, and then tax season. What do you think? That'd be fair?
Oh yeah, big time.
Why is that though?
Well, I go back to like my last year, granted, I wasn't this organized as I am this year, but I kind of understood everything that had to go into tax. But before that, even the year before, I just grabbed everything. I had no idea what I was looking at, what I needed, nothing like that. So I just threw everything at my accountant, and
Basically in a box.
and I answered his questions for a month. It was just like, what's this? What's that?
Yeah. And it's just like, you think about it with you guys, that is the most annoying type of questions to get, because you're sitting here focused on the next year, or you're working cattle, or you're focused on farming or whatever. You got your banker calling you, your accountant calling you. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like two of the most, stressful times of the year for you guys.
Oh, yeah. And then, trying to get a balance sheet to your banker. And I think it was last year, 2 years ago, I just kind of threw one together, and he goes, "Oh, good enough."
Yeah.
And it's like,
multi-million-dollar operation, good enough is not going to cut it.
Right. Because he just knows that what he's got behind with my dad. So it's like, I can't wait for the day where he just kind of, it's just me. I don't have to rely on dad all the time.
Yep.
So I guess not rely on him, but just, they look at my dad first before they look at me.
We all do. At the end of the day, we all want to have our own business, our own operation. We don't want to need anything from anybody else. Right. That's a thing that will bring us down mentally, not feeling like we're a true business owner. If we got to have parents, substituting collateral for us or pledging collateral for us to cover our loans. Like, I don't want to ever be in that position. I know you don't either.
No.
So the next piece then comes into tax season. So how good do you think? How good was Tyler's bookkeeping prior to coming into Legacy Farmer?
What bookkeeping? I'm dead serious. It was great. Not good. I ran everything out of one checking account. It just, I would have hated to be my accountant. That's for sure.
So there's no structure, business structure. There's no organization. You have liability across the board with all the different things you're doing. And then at the end of the year, December 1, you take in a box of crap that you basically just pulled off your desk in your office because all the papers were all over the place anyway. Put it into a box, take it into your account and say, here's my books for the year. And then these guys will go through and they'll get triggered at their accountant for not getting back to them before the end of the year, telling them, hey, what was my profit for the year? How much do I need to spend so I don't have to pay any taxes?
Yep. My dad still does that. 42 years into the business, he's still doing that.
Yeah. So a lot of you guys, man, coming into Legacy Farm, where it's given us the ability to now add on a full-time bookkeeper for you guys inside of our Legends program. And so we just went through the first, you had your first meeting with our bookkeeper, our in-house bookkeeper, who went through and put together all of your books for all of your entities, everything. Now you have farmer metrics on all entities. You have clean books on all entities. So going through that first onboarding appointment the other day with Holly, what was that experience like for you?
Well, like I told you, it made me, I felt like a grunt. I do all the major work around the farm here, and it actually finally made me feel more of a business owner. Understood a lot more of it. Just a huge weight lift off my shoulders.
Yeah. But when we think about the stress that tax season brings on, right? That's kind of the stress and the weight that was lifted off your shoulders, because now at the end of the year, when it comes to having clean books for all the businesses, dude, it's literally just going to be hey, let's print out our end of year reports. We already know everything's already been done correctly. We know everything balances, everything's good to go. And we literally hand a packet of end of year report to your accountant. And now that's it. They have everything they need. And the thing is for you though, is you already know what, we talk about one of the biggest problems is guys are wanting to know, hey, how much do I need to spend so I don't have to pay any taxes? Tyler already knows that before even coming into December.
Right. And that's what I even look forward to this year. And, you go back to 2019 season up here, we combined till March. Well, trying to get all that done, plus your taxes, plus, just trying to, you're so disorganized, it's just a cluster.
Yeah.
And now thinking of that, it's like, I would have paid anything for someone to just freaking do all that. And now, just thinking about that, you never know what kind of year we're going to have up here. And just knowing that that's getting done for you, but also I still like knowing my numbers. I still like keeping track of everything.
Yep.
Just because it just kind of who I am now. It's like, I like to see where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, and you understand too, you're starting to, this first year of getting your books done now on top of farmer metrics, is your first year of having everything structured and organized, and a year of actually making sound business decisions and not emotional stuff that you've done for the past decade.
Right.
So yeah, man, I'm super excited about it because, we're handling the two biggest stresses there. But at the same time, just like we talked about it in the group, there's two sets of books. Farmer Metrics is your books, the business owner's books. This is what I'm using to make decisions on a day-to-day, week-to-week, or month-to-month basis. Bookkeeping is going to be handling the IRS and the accountant's books and streamlining that entire process. So literally at the end of the year, all we do is hand a packet of stuff to them. They're good to go. All they have to do at that point is fill out forms, put in any tax law changes that have happened for the year for credits and depreciation, and that is it. It'll streamline everything.
I mean, most exciting thing I'm thinking about right now is my accountant's face when I hand that to him. From where I went to right now, that's all I can think about when we talk about this. And just excited.
Well, I'm excited for you too, man. You've stuck with us and allowed us to, you've invested money, energy, and time here to help us solve these problems and hire the right people and build out to solve some of the biggest problems in the industry. So extremely good for that.
Well, like I said, this is the best money I've spent on a tool for the farm, and it's awesome. Just a huge relief off me.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you again taking the time to have this conversation with me today.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys.